just got done watching Brian McKnight's latest interview with Anton Daniels, and we might owe Brian McKnight an apology. Brian McKnight has been a poster boy for deadbeat fathers since about 2018, when his kids initially went viral and exposed them for abandoning them, leaving them for dead, not taking care of them financially. Now, they will claim that Brian McKnight abandoned them once he got a new wife and a new family, and he's trying to replace them with this new family. Deadbeat rumors and Brian McKnight's issues with his kids really amplified and took a really dark turn once Brian McKnight's wife gave birth to his new son, Brian McKnight Jr. Is because he already has a junior, but he named this kid Brian McKnight Jr. and gave him just a different middle name. And then he changed his middle name to his newborn son's middle name so the newborn son could be the real junior, abandoning his current junior. Now, it took a nasty and dark turn because Brian McKnight's new wife is white. So once race came into the conversation, people began to paint Brian McKnight as a colorist, as somebody who was trying to replace his family with his new white family. Once the race aspect came into play, you began to see blogs like Shade Room and other gossip pages, whose audience for the most part is majority Black women. Those blogs began to cover this story more intensely, and we began to see the drama between Brian McKnight and his family intensified. One of his estranged sons actually caught cancer. Brian McKnight and the son still wasn't able to make up until the son passed away. So this situation is really nasty, and Brian McKnight, after 6 years, decided he was going to tell his side of the story, and here's what he had to say about it.
So I had moved them out of my house because I couldn't take the weed smoke and all that. But I told them, listen, here's an apartment. It's brand new. I'm going to pay for it for a year while y'all get yourselves together. You are now 25 and 22. 24 and 21.
So you were still trying to help them to become the men that they were supposed to be.
Right.
Even though they were fully grown adults.
Fully grown adults. 24 and 21. Here's your place. Now all your friends come up there. Be creative. You have all these people staying with you. Have them pay some rent. $100 here, whatever you have to do while you guys can get your music off the ground. They had produced a record at my house. It was out. It was doing well. My whole team put them at the Roxy on Sunset.
Yep.
They started doing live gigs. Now 50 people showed up the first time. The second one, maybe 75, 100 people showed up. It's going too slow. They quit. Here's this apartment. You can, I'm going to pay for everything, but get your life together. Figure out what you're going to do. You have this much time. A year passes. They still haven't done it. I said, okay, I'll do another year. Here's your second year.
Why I believe what he's saying in this interview is because when you cross-reference what he says with what the kid says, it kind of lines up perfectly. Like, during this interview, he spoke on how he was trying to help them chase their dreams, so they no longer would need him financially. He would bring them on tour. Then at some point during the tour, they would just quit the tour and leave, and he had to finish all the dates by himself, right? And if they're, let's say, they're openers or they're closers or they're doing certain sets within the show, well, then he now has to do more hours and work more per night because now they just abandoned him on tour and they left. Now, as rich kids, it's very easy to rely on your parents, to be honest. Like, it's very easy to think that daddy's money is your money forever. But 26, 22 years old, I don't feel like he has any obligation to take care of a 26-year-old man. Now, he will say after paying their rent for about 2 years or so, they still didn't get their stuff together. Right? They're still lollygagging around. They're still not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And eventually he had to put his foot down.
So they 26 at this point and 27 years old at this point.
They're 26 and 23 by then. Right? But we're getting married.
Yeah.
I'm leaving to go out of the country. And I get detained. Because they're looking for him.
Yeah.
And we have the same name.
Yep.
He now has two from that same girl. And Leilani and I and her mother, we had sat them down and said, listen, what are y'all going to do? You got to get together. Well, she says to me, well, he told me you were going to pay for everything.
As a grown man?
When the second one comes, he comes and tells me that he just happened to be over there and she raped him. And I'm like, what? What is happening? This is where we are now.
Yeah.
So we go ahead and get married in a fairy tale ceremony. I'm gonna give you all the video so you can see it. About 6 months later, the oldest calls me. He's like, "Listen, I don't have a place to stay. Can me and my new girlfriend come live with y'all for a while?"
Both of them?
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't even the original girl?
No.
Wow.
As a father, I had to put my foot down because if I give in to this again, I said, no, you're going to have to figure this out. You're now 26, 27 years old. You got these 2 kids you're not taking care of.
Yeah.
You got this woman who now he has another baby with. Now
So he's a 2-time baby daddy.
So he's got this, and it's not about the baby daddy.
And I'm just, that's
it's
just
about,
what it is.
You got to take care of your business. I'm not here to take care of, I got my own stuff I got to deal with.
Yeah.
Take care of it. So now he's having to deal with things on his own. And that's when, in 2019, when we decided to leave LA, he goes on his Instagram and tells everyone that he was abandoned, that I abandoned him and his brother.
Brian McKnight sounds really convincing. He don't sound like he was putting too much effort in trying to remember the story. It kind of flowed eloquently, which may speak towards maybe he is telling the truth. But the 2 sons specifically sound spoiled. Sound like 2 kids, 2 men who know their father had millions or father had a lot of money. And, they thought they could pretty much bank on that ride forever as they try to figure out, their struggling musical career.
A lot of people judged the fact that maybe he didn't take care of his children because you all said he didn't. Has Brian McKnight supported his sons financially for the last 30 years?
Financially? Well, I mean, you say
because you're 30 now, you know what I'm saying? Like, he should have dropped your ass off at 18, 19, 20.
He did. No, he did. Oh, he definitely did.
Right.
So, and I even knew that before all this, that's knowing my dad was going to be his defense. You throw money into the pot, especially with someone that everyone knows has money, it's going to be pretty hard to not believe what he's saying. But I tell you this, me and my brother have supported ourselves and have taken care of ourselves for the last decade. We toured with him for 7 years now. That was 15 to 21 for me, so that's 13 to 20 for my brother, and we were making our own money outside of even him. And see, all those kinds of things kind of get lost in, I was taking care of them. But child support ain't taking care of your children. And that's the biggest thing I want to tell people. Were we living in my dad's house? Sure. Did we get kicked out and have to go fend for ourselves? Oh, yeah. And did we do that? I feel like pretty well.
And it feels like the father was kind of okay banking it at first. But once he realized, man, my sons have no work ethic, bruh. They're quitting tour early. They're not sticking to anything. They're not trying to chase or grind his music scene. Man, bro, I'm not wasting my time with this. I'm going. Now, if the son shows up and says, hey, bro, me and my fiance or baby mama don't got nowhere to go. We're going to be homeless if we don't stay with you. And you say, go ahead and figure out. I don't know how I feel about that specifically, but if his mother is in their lives, he could have went and stayed with the mother. But from what Brian McKnight is describing, from that instance, I don't see that as abandonment. Again, obviously there could be more to this story. And what Brian McKnight has done since, I don't support all of it. Like Brian McKnight specifically, bro, what Brian McKnight did with the youngest son. Okay, now maybe he feels estranged from his first junior, and that's why he did what he did. But Brian McKnight having a kid with a new wife, giving a new wife kid the same name as your junior, as you, Brian McKnight Jr., making a new son Brian McKnight Jr. as well, but just giving the new son and the firstborn different middle names, and then changing your middle name to the newborn son middle name, so the newborn son could be the real junior, and the firstborn could lose his junior rights. That's kind of crazy to me. That's petty. That's vindictive. That's spiteful. Right? I don't think no father should operate in that manner. To be honest, that's very spiteful. And also, too, why I'm not willing to fully give Brian McKnight the benefit of the doubt, like 100%, is because his daughter spoke out against him. Now, if it's just the 2 sons, cool. But if the daughter is speaking out against you, then, yeah, maybe you weren't the best father. Now, maybe you're not as bad as they say. All right, maybe we owed you an apology in that regard, in regards to the sons. But if the daughter is also complaining about you, because the daughter wrote a lengthy Instagram post, the daughter write, "Daddy's little girl was never really a thing for me. Nobody understands what I've been through except for my siblings. Believe it or not, I'm not always the person I seem to be. I'm not always happy. And most of the time, I'm battling my own demons just like everyone else. I grew up thinking that the things that happened to me and my dad's relationship was my fault. I grew up thinking he doesn't want to come visit me because he doesn't love me. Constantly put behind other kids that he would call his own while I'm cast into a land far, far away in the back of his mind. It sucks knowing that someone else who's not even blood related to you comes before you in every single way. It sucks knowing that my phone calls have to go through a stranger I barely know, that my text messages are read without a response, and that my stepmother tells me that they wish the best for me. It kills me to know that it's so hard for me and my siblings to get a word in, not one word. At a very young age, I was always second place in my father's heart. It's because he didn't really fully address everything from my perspective that right now it's still 50-50. There are people right now who are saying, yo, my mind has been changed. Y'all have been wrong about Brian McKnight. What's going on? Y'all slander this man. And there are other people who are pointing towards, man, listen, bro, he touched on the sons, but what about the daughter? Oh, okay. Are all the kids just lying on them, just being spiteful? Are they all spoiled? Like, what's going on? Now, Brian McKnight did say that his first wife, who he had his older kids with, bruh, their relationship was not out of love. He married her because she got pregnant because his mom was like really serious in the church, and he felt like it would reflect negatively on her if he pops up home with an out of wedlock child. So he got married to her. You know, they was never in love. You know, their kids were never made out of love. And he felt like the kids currently are just choosing the side of the bitter ex-wife who was mad that he's moved on and got married. All right. I don't know. Okay. Now, from my perspective, man, I 100% think he's right with the sons. The sons to me were spoiled brats, lazy as a mug. The daughter, her pain don't really sound like a pain that comes from materialistic things. She's not really asking for you to buy her things. From what I've seen from her caption, it feels like she wants you to be present and in her life. Now, Brian McKnight did speak on how he believes he's been given a raw deal by the media. He spoke on Mark Lamont Hill, the Joe Budden podcast, and others. And he even says, yo, they wouldn't have me on because they're cowards.
Why? Because here's the thing. Why can't we sit and talk about it?
Yeah, I agree.
I send a message to Joe Budden's podcast. Crickets. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But who's that Mark, the guy, the political
Mark
guy?
Lamont Hill.
Let me tell you something. I'd destroy that dude.
Yeah.
I would destroy him. Not physically, but in
I
a
understand
debate.
what you're saying.
Because you don't even know me. But you call me an asshole?
Yeah. Well, I look at Mark Lamont Hill. There's a segment of people that are what I like to call, they like to champion themselves as intellectuals, right? And that they truly believe that they're smarter than everybody else. But I don't really believe that because I never see the results.
Right.
It never translates, right? So
I see people hand him I see people handing him his ass all the time.
yeah, it's easy to, it's easy to say that, I'm the smartest guy in the room, but it doesn't necessarily translate into results, right? So I decided that I would do stuff on my own, and that I would have the conversations authentically with people that I actually value. And getting to know you over the years, I'm happy that you had an opportunity to tell your perspective and your story on my platform. Let me ask you one more question, because there's been a lot of people from the Ricky Smileys to all of these different type of people that run with a narrative but doesn't necessarily seek the truth. Do you think that they have a greater responsibility on their platforms to be not only entertaining, but also objectively try to find the truth to have these conversations, especially when they have the opportunity to reach out to you and it's not like you're hard to find?
I think that absolutely they do. And I'll tell you why. One of the reasons why the average watcher or listener is the way that they are is because they see and idolize the people that are acting the way that they do.
Right.
So why would they be any different? Why would they seek the truth? Why would they look for the truth if the people that they put up on a pedestal don't look for the truth either?
Right.
They're more responsible than anyone because they've got the bigger platform. So when I go out and I call somebody out about it and they don't reach back, that just tells me you're a coward, that you don't have the intestinal fortitude.
Joe Budden said this is cap. Like, Joe Budden podcast responded back. They said, bruh, you never reached out. We never got any word from anybody from your team saying you wanted to come out. If you did reach out, maybe it was somebody who didn't have any association with us whatsoever. but we would have you on. Like, we would love to have you on the podcast. Like, we will want to sit and talk to you. Now, I don't know if Mark is going to be there per se, because Mark has said a lot about Brian McKnight since. But Brian McKnight and Mark Lamont Hill, I guess they've done several interviews in the past. So Mark Lamont Hill, when he responded back, he brought that up. And he also kind of threatened Brian McKnight. Like, he told Brian McKnight, hey, right, you keep speaking on me, even though Mark has been speaking on Brian McKnight for a while now. Mark will say, yo, Brian McKnight, if you keep speaking on me, right, he's going to reveal information that apparently Brian McKnight kids told him off air that's not public yet. All right. So even to me, that is kind of like scummy. You feel me, man? Like, this man's family business is not really your business to where you are so invested. Now you're threatening to leak secrets that only you know. It's like, I don't know, bro, right? Brian McKnight isn't a perfect victim here. I don't think he's a victim at all. Because I do believe if multiple kids are saying this, now if the two sons have their story, but the other kids love you, cool. But if most of your kids are saying, hey, bro, you wasn't there for me, then I can't defend you. But what Mark Lamont Hill did to Brian McKnight, I can't defend either. I don't think it's cool.
I don't remember calling him an ass, but he is an ass. Let me be clear. Brian McKnight, is this my camera? Brian McKnight, you are an ass. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. It's not a beef. We ain't got no issues. You're just an ass. I'm basing that on having interviewed Brian McKnight lots of times. Since I wasn't going to mention this, but I've interviewed you lots of times. You were rude and nasty to everybody on my crew. Everybody on my team, you were nice to me. But the measure of being an ass isn't how you treat the host. It's how you treat everybody around him. Yeah. And you've been a dickhead to them. No disrespect to you, except you're an ass. I was in an airport in Eastern Europe. I was headed somewhere. You were headed somewhere different. I watched a woman come up to you and ask you for an autograph, and you completely ignored and disrespected her and walked off. You're an ass. But that's not why we're talking about this. So you say, I don't know you. Right. I don't know you. But I don't have to know you to know you're an ass. I don't get into your family business. Your family business has nothing to do with me, except when you make it public. And when you put your family in public on blast, that might make you an ass. That's all I'm saying. When you have children and you say my children are the product of evil, that might make you an ass. When somebody says, yo, but the Bible says you should love your children, you say my older children were the product of sin. That might make you an ass. That's just a fact. When you have a child named Brian McKnight Jr., and then you fall out with them, have a new baby, name him Brian McKnight with a different middle name, and then legally change your name to the new kid's name, you tried to start back at one with your kids? Nigga, that might make you an ass. So please, don't act like you better than us. You're not. You worse than us. If you want to come up here and debate, I'm sure they will let you debate. But you didn't contact nobody. You're lying, just like your children say you lie. And for the record, I have spoken to your children off the record, and they've told me a laundry list of shit about you that's way worse than anything that's ever happened in the public. I'm not going to say that on air. We could keep that between me and you. But if you keep doing this, I will put it out.
See, that's the thing.
So now, if you want the smoke, keep coming, or we can just stop this right here, my brother. God bless.
Brian McKnight.
This might be the most confusing thing you've ever heard on this channel. But Mark Lamont Hill being upset at Brian McKnight for being upset at him for speaking on him over the years, as much as he has spoken about Brian McKnight over the years, is to me logically flawed, because you don't seem to understand why he's upset at you for speaking on him, and you're actually mad at him for being upset at you speaking on him, but yet you're upset at him for speaking on you. And I don't understand it, right? Threatening to expose the man for finally speaking on you after you've been speaking on him for years is crazy. But y'all let me know in the comment section. All right, what do you guys think about this? Do y'all believe that Brian McKnight has changed their mind, or nah, right? Like, you still think he's the same deadbeat you thought he was, man, before this video? Let me know in the comment section, man. Did the interview change your mind about Brian McKnight? And if you're still watching this video and want to watch another good video, then click on this video right here to find out why Chrisean Rock is going to get herself hurt badly in LA if she don't stop doing this. Click on this video right here to find out what this is. I'm seeing you guys in this video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.